Alright. Welcome to Sideboard MTG. My name's Eric, and it's time for another of the Patreon games. This time we've got a Selesnya Midrange deck, and this is by Jeffery Willig. Pretty cool deck here. I hope you guys like it. If you do, give it that thumbs up, and if you like the content in general, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And as always, if you want to see your deck played on the Patreon games, there's a few ways that you can do that. One's over at patreon.com, of course. And then the other, if you want them played on the stream, is submit your deck to our Reddit. Doesn't cost you anything. Just post your deck, and if you get enough votes, we'll play your deck. Alright, so let's take a look at this Selesnya Midrange deck here. Now, I've got the list brought up on the side, and with these decks, I'm not really going to go into the actual list very much. I've got the list pulled up, like, it should be like right there. Yeah, I've got the list pulled up so you guys can kind of look over the list as I'm playing and things like that. And I'm just going to kind of jump into some games, and then we're going to play the deck, see how the deck just, operates, and then from there we'll come back and, give some informed advice, maybe. Alright, so let's jump into a game. See what we've got going on. See if we can find us an opponent, right? The deck's pretty cool. Jeffrey has been on mono green for quite some time now. I don't know why you would want to come off of mono green right now. I mean, mono green's stronger than it's been in a really, really long time. I don't know why you'd want to come off of mono green, but green-white might be a good place to go. I mean, there's a lot of green-white decks doing some really mean things, and we're gonna take a look and see if yours is one of those. Nyxborn. We're probably gonna run into some pretty hardcore players here. I mean, we can just get into our Ripjaw Raptor. He's pretty mean. This looks like a fairly decent hand, so. I mean, honestly, I could have waited till turn 2 and just played 2 of them, but I mean, this keeps us open to some other outs. I mean, we're not swinging into that, but yeah. Knight of Grace seems good. And the Rebuke. Got me. River's Rebuke, just getting us there. Okay, well, I mean, there's a Psi Master Thopterist. Mox Amber. Which, does this mean he gets to keep up yet another Rebuke? Oh my goodness. I think I just have to go for the Ripjaw here, though. Alright. Getting in with a Ripjaw, not bad. I mean, yeah, he might be able to just like Brawl's Expertise bounce it, which is not where we want to be. Psi Master Thopterist. Mean deck. Very mean deck. Getting with the Flyer. Alright. We take a little damage. I mean, we could seal it away. Paradoxical Outcome. Wow. And then just play these both back. Get 2 more Thopters. Right. Man, doesn't that seem like a thing? Alright, so we need something like Carnage Tyrant here. And we actually need something like Goblin Chainwhirler. That's what we need. I mean, I don't expect him to block here. He's going to be in the air the whole time, so we're not blocking up there. The greatest thing I think we could hope for would be for him to turn Psi sideways, but if he does, it means he's probably got another one. So this is going to be a hard race to win. crane. Okay. He reveals a renegade map, which you'll play that, make yet another Thopter. This is it's not looking terrific here for us. I think that I try to just get one of these now. I mean, I don't think we're going to get a lot of value out of our Silaways here. I mean, if he just goes ahead and sacks a couple Thopters, then I'm okay with that. I guess we just keep crashing in for 4. I mean, he can get in front of it for 0, and he won't do any damage to it, so we don't draw a card. But we're slowly winning this race. Benalish Marshal will change everything. Like, we have our 3 white now, so I mean, if we hit a Benalish Marshal, we're looking at being pretty sweet. I mean, this deck runs... Yeah, this deck runs 4 Benalish Marshal. It's like right here. Yeah, 4 Benalish Marshal. Lano War Elvish. I mean, does he like Paradoxical Outcome again? If he does, I think I want to try to grab the Clint Nest. So, nah, we can't even get in with the Lano War Elves. I think I am going to go ahead and just seal away the crane. Might just get blown out here by Paradoxical Outcome. Yeah. Oh, Inventor's Fair. He's just going to go get something. Probably something that just wrecks my face, of course. We'll see what he gets. Just needed to draw another card. I've done that. Maybe he needs a certain color? Cast something? Maybe? Who knows? Aetherflux Reservoir. But no. Why? Don't do that. That's gaining life. That changes the plan. Okay, opponent. This is getting really old. Alright, so we'll begin sideboarding. And we've got Naturalize, which is really good here. Baffling End is going to be better than Seal Away. He can play around the Seal Away really easily, but Baffling End is going to be a little bit harder for him to play around. I want to keep everything that's like go wide, so we're gonna do that. Creatures entering tapped will actually be really sweet, but we have a few of those already. I want the Baffling Ends. And then Ixalan's Binding's probably not horrible, but I don't think we're going to get a lot of turns. It may be Ixalan's Binding. Like, Aethersphere Harvest is probably not exactly what we're looking for. I think it is Ixalan's Binding. We only have a little bit of room, so I'm going to go with one Ixalan's Binding here. It may just be the other Kanjali Sunwing. But we're gonna go like this. Alright, so we can turn to a Sunwing. That's not bad. That's pretty much the best ramp target in this in the deck. It doesn't have any really powerful turn twos, and that alone has bothered me just a little bit with the deck. I went to looking through a lot of the cards before I played this, and I was trying to find, you know, like some more in the green-white category, like more things that we could do on turn 2 that were just really powerful. You know, something along the lines of like a Still Leaf Champion style, you know, style power on turn 2, and there's just not really anything like that, and that's horrible. That it really is. Because of the nature of Llanowar Elf, you really want to be playing a you know, a green source on turn 1, play the Llanowar Elf, and then that gives you at least 2 green sources on turn 2 with, you know, whatever other color you might be able to muster up. Like here we were able to get you know, turn 2 green white, and that's not going to be very easy. So I don't know, it was just it's a little bit strange for me that we're playing Llanowar Elf without any real, like, payoff, like serious payoff, and I don't know. That's that kind of hurts a little bit. Like, it just does. Like, do I keep naturalized up here, or do I just go ahead and play the Llano and I think I play the Llano and just get in for this damage here while we can. I think the more damage that we get in, the earlier, the better off we're going to be. Now, of course, he's not going to have a black permanent, so he's not going to activate this for us, so, you know, we're not going to be getting anything out of that. Benalish Marshal would be nice, but we can't cast it. Like Benalish is really good because, you know, making your Llanowar Elves, you know, all of a sudden 2/2s. And ooh, I think we get rid of that. Yeah, I think I get rid of that now. Alright, again, just hitting him for as much as possible, as quickly as possible. I mean, if he was on a Inspiring Statuary play, we might be able to get ahead of him if his plant... Okay, there's another Inspiring Statuary, another Glintless Crane. We're probably... No, we get to get in for one more hit here. Alright, so we did get a Marshal. We can't cast the Marshal, though. Which is always going to be the problem. Like this is... I've talked about the petals in the past being a little bit difficult to, you know, play with. And, you know, this is exactly that case. Psi, Master Thopterist... I mean, he's trying to go off here. We need a white source off the top, basically. Yeah, I think he's realizing that he doesn't have a way to block us. So we definitely need to be just as fast as possible, removing any early blockers that he might have. I'm going to go with the Sunwing plan. And we're going to rock it like this. I should probably take out like the Ixalan's Binding for one of the Benalish Marshals, but Benalish is just so hard to cast in this deck. I just don't think that we can actually play it. I'm going to mulligan this hand. This is slightly better. We'll try it. Yeah, we'll put that on top. Alright. Alright, Mr. Nixborn. Galto will be good in this matchup, I think. I mean, if he just wanted to have the Metallic Rebuke up, then that's fine. I mean, if he wants to counter this, then that's also fine. Like, I'd rather get the Kanjali Sunwing out than anything else. Like, he wasn't able to sack that last turn because he needed to keep up. I don't know, he could have still sacked it and, like, played his turn 2 land. I don't know what he was doing there. I mean, does he just have another counter? No way. The deck only runs like 4, right? 4 that'll counter that. Ooh, this will be decent. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. At least we'll know what's coming for our Sunwing attack here. Oh yeah. Let's get some. Okay, well, there's a Sai. He's got 1 mana, but ooh, he should have tapped that one for some color before playing this one. One, two, three, four, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, we can Song of Freyalise. And then, like, naturalize the Mox Amber. Swing 5. It's not horrible. Yeah, I think I just want to naturalize this. We know that he's a little hurt on land anyway, and I think getting rid of this might help. So he remembers to tap there. Alright, so next turn we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, we just cast Carnage Tyrant and be done with it. Yeah, we cast Carnage Tyrant. Carney T comes out to play. Yeah, and then everything's going to get a +1/+1 counter next turn. Plus, he's not going to have a lot of blockers. So, I mean, he needs a bunch of islands here to come back from this. Yep, there we go. Pretty sweet. Not bad, not bad. Well, I mean, we beat the mono blue craziness deck. All right, Jeff, I'm just gonna start out with saying I don't like this. I don't like Benalish Marshal here with Land of War Elves. One or the other. Like Land of War Elves makes you much heavier on the green. Which means that it's going to be much harder to cast your Benalish Marshals at any given point. So I've actually pulled up a couple other early one drops. Like if you're only really using Llanowar Elves to give you an extra body and to do things like that, then maybe the better idea would be able to you know, we either need to replace the 3-drop so that we can actually get some more benefit out of the Llanowar Elves games, or we need to replace maybe the Llanowar Elves so that we get more benefit out of our 1-drop. Now, trying to, you know, keep up with the theme that you've got going on here with the Song of Freylease and, you know, servo expeditions and things like that. And, you know, you've got a bunch of creatures and, like, you're trying to continuously get in with a bunch of your creatures, that sort of thing. I pulled a couple extra 1-drops here just to kind of look at. Now, these are not the best, but they're going to work pretty well with your Benalish Marshal. So if you know, it's going to allow you to go a little bit deeper on your white mana, so that you don't have as many green sources. And again, this is if you decide you want to like back off of those Llanowar Elves, like if you're not trying to go that route. Now, granted, I know that you have your Vine Mayors and stuff in the sideboard, and a turn 3 Vine Mayor is still really powerful. A turn 3 Jaw Raptor is great. Even a turn 5 Carnage Tyrant is great. But I think there's some other ways you can get around that. And one of those is just, you know, something like a Sacred Cat. Sacred Cat's 1 white mana. You can play that on turn 1. Puts up a nice little roadblock. If you swing with it a couple times, you gain some life. If you block with it, you stop some damage and you gain a little bit of life. You know, if they use a magma spray on this, you know, then no big deal. So if they've got one of those hands where they were going to be able to bolt the bird anyway and kill your Llanowar Elves, I mean, then them killing a Sacred Cat's not going to hurt, you know, that much. You bringing a Sacred Cat back, giving you an extra creature and things like that, so that, you know, you can maximize the use of your land, your mana, you know, in later turns where you played it on turn 1, and then like on turn 4 you play a 3-drop and play, you know, the cat back from the graveyard or something like that, so that you're continuously putting down as many bodies as possible. I think that that's probably pretty good. Sacred Cat's definitely high on my list if you're just looking for a 1-drop so you can continuously start putting out, you know, more and more stuff. Sacred Cat's high on my list. Rustwing Falcon's up there, especially if you're going to continue to run the Benalish Marshal. But if you took the Benalish Marshal and the Llanowar Elves out, then I definitely probably wouldn't be on Rustwing Falcon or the Sky Marcher Aspirin. But if you are going to stay with the Benalish Marshals and just drop the Llanowar Elves or something, then Sky Marcher Aspirin is probably going to be really good. Benalish Marshal is going to be your direct counter to those Goblin Chainwhirler decks. Like, you're going to need to get that Marshal down before the Goblin Chainwhirler comes down, so you know that's really going to be important that you have those 3 white lands if you're trying to, you know, use that Benalish Marshal to protect all of your 1-power dudes. So you know the white land's going to be very important, and again, I think just having so many green sources so that you can get that turn 1 Llanowar Elf is going to make it really hard for you. So, you know, again, if you stick with the Benalish, Sky Marcher Aspirin's one to consider. Another one to consider, and this one's actually really good, whether you stick with the Llanowar Elves or the Benalish Marshal, or get rid of both. Like, Snubhorn Sentry is nothing to snub at. No, he's actually really good. And you know, with your deck, you're going to be trying to go wide. You know, you've got you've got Sisay, you know, which cares about you having multiple creatures down. The more creatures, the better off you are. I do like her. I've seen her grow completely out of control. Snubhorn Sentry just like benefits from that. Personally, though, Benalish Marshal might actually just be better suited as something like an Oketra's Monument. And like, I think you're really close to being like an Oketra's Monument deck, and that actually might not be a bad place to go for like a Song of Freylease deck or something. Benalish Marshal fits in really good in the Oketra's Monument decks and things like that. I really like Kanjali's Sunwing in those decks. Kanjali Sunwing won us both of those games right there. I don't know if you guys like seen that in game 3. Like we hit that Sunwing and it was like, this is all about to happen. So yeah, I mean it was Sunwing's really good. But Snubhorn Sentry is another 1-drop you might want to consider. Now, as far as if you want to stay on the green, another green 1-drop you might want to look into is Ovia Pashiri. Ovia Pashiri is going to give you the ability to just make a bunch of creatures, and this is another one of those cards that care about how many creatures you have, where you can create an XX colorless construct artifact creature token, where X is the number of creatures you control. So you'll make it, it'll be as big as it's going to be, and then if you lose creatures after that, it still stays the same size. So I mean, even if they get to do a small board wipe or something, and you get to keep your 6/6 around or something. So Avia Pashiri is actually really good in these creatures matter kind of decks. Plus, if you got like the Song of Freylease going and things, you can actually get to use her a little bit quicker. I actually think you might want to look into maybe a couple more copies of Servo Expedition, especially if you stay on the Benalish Marshal plan. Again, staying on the Benalish Marshal plan means you kind of got to come off that turn 1 green plan. Honestly, you're probably looking at turn 1 cycling land most of the time anyway, so having a bunch of 1-drops probably ain't where you want to be anyway. So it's probably either just stick with what you got, which you can always do. My opinion is just that. But I just really don't think that this is kind of where I want to be with Land of War Elves. I don't feel like I'm going to get anything out of Land of War Elves for taking the risk of drawing it late game. There is an inherent scariness, a risk to running a Land of War Elves. When you're completely out of cards and you top deck one, it does not feel great. So there needs to be that opposite on the other end. On turn 1 you have the Land of War Elves, and you have the thing to just slam down on turn 2 to punish them for not bolting the bird. That's always something that you can do if you have the cards to cast. And so a couple other cards I pulled up that I think would be really good for you on turn 2 that you might want to look at. Deathgorge Scavenger is really good. And then Reclamation Sage is really good, but if you don't want to actually go the Reclamation Sage aspect, then I understand. If you just want to keep a body around, then that's fine. You do need to be able to play this on turn 2. If they played a turn 1, probably not going to happen. So Reclamation Sage is an idea, but in all reality, you probably want something like Thrashing Brontodon. And this will actually make use of green mana. You have the 1 forest, and you cast that you use to cast the Land of War Elf, and you have the Land of War Elf, so we know that you can make 2 green on turn 2. And then whatever other land you have, you get your 3 land for Thrashing Brontodon here. Well, Thrashing Brontodon, unlike Reclamation Sage, you can wait. You can pick when you need to do the destruction, and this works really well against cards like Goblin Chainwhirler. So Thrashing Brontodon might actually be your better 3-drop than Benalish Marshal, or maybe even split it a little bit. I just don't think that we want 4 Benalish Marshals when we have so many green lands in the mana base. It is a good card. It's just really hard to land, and when you're trying to play it off curve, there needs to be a really good reason to concede the fact that we're not going to turn 3 this. There needs to be a really good reason to be able to hang on to it. Okay, I want to build the board and things like that. But in the Goblin Chainwhirler meta here, we don't have time to build the board with a bunch of 1 toughness creatures. We need this Marshal down on turn 3 to be able to counter that Goblin Chainwhirler, and I don't feel that happening here. So that's the only thing that I really have to say about the deck. As far as Ghalta, I don't think you're running too many Ghaltas. I don't think you're running too many Carnage turns. I think these are really good top you know, top of the curve. Hey, this is how I'm going to finish the game. I'm going to, you know, build up this wall of little dudes and things, and then I'm going to slap down a Carnage Tyrant. The only thing that really felt out of place, and you know, looking over the deck and things like that, was just the Llanowar Elves curve and the Benalish Marshal. Now, if you're going to concede the fact that, you know, hey, I'm not casting a you know, a 3-drop on turn 2. I'm more than likely going to play like a tap land and then a 2-drop or something like that. Then you're going to want to look for more green 2-drops. So like if like, just think about the curve and like, what do you really want to do with that Llanowar Elf? Like, what is the purpose? Like, why am I risking drawing this thing on turn 7 when I'm out of cards to have it on turn 1? Like, why am I risking that by running 4 of these? And then like, make sure that you've got a good answer in the deck to warrant that risk. Llanowar Elves is a great card, but doesn't necessarily belong in all decks. And I think just the fact of trying to play this on turn 1, along with trying to get this down on by turn 3, where it's going to be effective. If you can't get it down by turn 3, then it makes no sense to be able to put any of your other dudes down. So, like, there's just no real speed here with this this interaction. So I would go back and look at the Leno and the Benalish Marshal and just kind of decide. Let that game that we just had, you know, kind of give you the idea of, you know, hey, this is where I'm at. Multiple times we had the Llanowar Elves, couldn't really get anything out of them. We had the Benalish Marshal, couldn't cast it, or needed the Benalish Marshal and we just didn't have it or something. So, you know, like, I mean, that's Magic. That's just kind of how it goes. And, you know, I know we didn't play a lot there. But I really wanted to just kind of like point out this curve and this interaction here. But everything else is great. Sly Voice of Plenty is just like destroying people, giving all of your stuff hexproof. It's like one of the best reasons to be green with your white deck. Like, honestly, Benalish Marshal may be better served as, you know, Resplendent Angel, where you can actually, you know, get that in sometimes on turn. You're not going to do it on turn 2, okay? Like, you're just not going to do it on turn 2 because you need the forest to play the Llanowar Elf. The Llanowar Elf creates another green, so you got 2 green. You cannot do a double white, so you're not going to be able to get that down. But you know, just look into it. Like, think about that curve. Maybe more things on that are colorless, something like that. But I think that's the only hiccup in this deck, and I think like fixing that one interaction there, no matter which direction you go with it, but smoothing out the interaction here of your turn 1 play, your Llanowar Elves, your Benalish Marshal, like what are we doing here? I think that you're going to increase consistency overall, and probably got a really good deck going here. So I would be happy to see it in the future, but as of right now, again, you know, this is what I got for you, Jeffrey. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I gave you some feedback here on your deck. But definitely look into this. Alright, sir, I'm out. I had a lot of fun. You've been watching Sideboard MTG here on YouTube Gaming. See you guys.